Charles Rhodes misfires, but Bernardo underneath gets the offensive putback, and we're tied at 8.
Mississippi State doing a nice job putting the ball in the basket, but they've had 4 turnovers to this point in the game against a stout Kentucky defense.
We've had 2 ties, 2 lead changes. Randolph Morris has been the go-to man to this point. He's already fired off 5 shots. He's made 2 of them. Bill Crawford with a 3-pointer as well for the Wildcats. He continues that hot shooting from behind the arc. He's made 8 of his last 9 over the last 2 games. He'll continue to fire. This time he misses.
Dave, offensively, Kentucky doing a nice job getting it to Randolph Morris inside.
Here's the freshman guard, Jasper. He's had a couple of steals already. Waiting on Morris to post up down in the paint. Bobby Perry spins on Rhodes to the basket. Had it blocked. Morris is there for the putback.
And a good, somewhat aggressive move by Bobby Perry to get into the lane, as Perry has struggled for most of the last 11 games. He got hit with an elbow in the game against Indiana. Took 12 stitches after that game and really hadn't been the same since.
Yeah, he had a double-double in that game, including the 12 stitches. Delk misses out of the corner. Rebound to Jasper. Jasper, the 6'6" freshman guard. Kicks it out to the corner. Bradley misfires. Rhodes the rebound.
A really good play by Derek Jasper. He has penetrated into the lane several times and set up teammates for good open shots. The freshman really understands how to run a ball club.
Rhodes turnaround jumper in and out, no good. Morris lost the basketball, and Mississippi State will have it. And substitutions abound as Delk and Bernardo, actually both Delks, go to the bench along with Bernardo. On the floor is Barry Stewart, Ben Hansbrough, and Dietrich Slater. So you get 2 freshmen and a senior in the lineup. Also Goodrich on the floor, the sophomore out of Brooklyn for Mississippi State. Łukasz Orbzut checks in for Kentucky. Also on the floor is Michael Porter, a freshman guard. Jody Meeks, another freshman on the floor. Very young, as you can tell, freshman.
Yeah.
Hansbrough out of the corner, right off the bench. Barry Stewart tracks it down, and the Bulldogs will get another crack.
Mississippi State, a very good rebounding club. They are a +6 in rebound margin on the season.
Goodrich fighting for the rebound. Had it stripped out of there, but right into Barry Stewart's hands.
Kentucky has had a little bit of trouble on the backboards this season. They need to do a good job tonight blocking off Mississippi State and getting after the rebound.
Stewart kicks it out to Jamon Gordon, swinging around to Hansbrough. This time he knocks it down.
Yeah, you let him practice that shot earlier. Give him a look earlier in the possession. He'll knock down the second open jumper. Great job by State getting after the backboards. Ben Hansbrough knocking down the jumper.
1-point Bulldog lead. Łukasz Orbzut hands it off to Ramel Bradley. Bradley kicks it back to Stevenson. He's tied up by Hansbrough. Jump ball arrow favors Kentucky. Shot clock will hang at 13.
Mississippi State has done a nice job handling the early pressure from Kentucky. The intensity of this crowd and this environment. A very young Mississippi State club, and they have gotten through these first few minutes of the ball game in good shape.
Kentucky over the last 5 games has shot 52% from the floor. Meeks too strong, batted around to Jamon Gordon, but tonight Kentucky shooting just 33%. Gordon. And Rick Crawford on the far side at the push against Łukasz Orbzut. And there is a timeout on the floor with 11:49 to go in the opening half. Kentucky down by 1 at home. Coverage of tonight's Mississippi State-Kentucky game here on FSN is being brought to you by Dodge, by your Southeast Toyota dealers, by Chevrolet, and by RBRC. Back inside Rupp Arena, it is a cold I wouldn't say real cold, but kind of cold. Rainy night in Lexington. I will definitely say it is rainy.
Yeah, glad it's not real cold because that rain would be a lot of snow.
Despite all that, there is 23,000 inside this building watching Kentucky trying to keep their winning streak alive. They have won 9 in a row, 13-3 on the year, 2-0 in SEC play. Hard to believe we played 1 week of SEC basketball. Only 2 teams are unbeaten in league play. Florida, which won today to go 3-0, and Kentucky at 2-0.
And only 2 teams have been able to go on the road and win basketball games in the SEC. Kentucky at Ole Miss and Florida today against South Carolina.
Meeks.
Zone defense now by Mississippi State.
Here's Bradley. In and out. Rebound Stewart. Nice pass to Dietrich Slater. His reverse is up and in.
Pretty move by Slater and a good job by Mississippi State pushing the tempo.
And then the pass goes right off the fingertips of Ramel Bradley. I don't think he was expecting it. And that turnover gives it back to the Bulldogs, who lead by 3.
For Mississippi State, playing at an up-tempo, a fast pace, you run the risk of getting the crowd really involved in the game and kind of letting Kentucky play their style of basketball. But I think Mississippi State will be most successful by playing fast.
Richards Delk, a 41% marksman from behind the arc, knocks down his 19th 3 of the year.
Richard Delk played a lot of point guard last year as a freshman, and this season has moved over to the wing slot and is very comfortable shooting from that wing position and playing the wing as opposed to the point guard.
It's now an 8-0 Mississippi State run. Stevenson lost the ball. Orbzuk saves it to Porter. Cross-court pass. Here's Meeks. Shot clock down to 5. Bradley, a good one-on-one player, will have to find a way. And a good defensive stand by the Bulldogs.
The athleticism of those State Bulldogs. Richard Delk getting that block shot.
Stewart will fire from 3 off the back of the iron. Meeks the rebound. Up ahead to Bradley. Bradley did an excellent job against Auburn from the point guard position. Michael Porter, the freshman out of California, knocks down his 8th 3 of the season. He's 8 out of 17 from behind the arc.
A 44% three-point shooter coming into this game. Now raise it to 50%. Really good shooter, Michael Porter. They got him in a backup point guard role, but he is a very good shooter. Probably would be more comfortable just playing the 2-guard spot.
Those are the first points for Kentucky in over 4 minutes. Slater had nowhere to go. Here come the Wildcats. Porter will line it up again. It'll be Bulldog basketball with 9:13 to go here in the opening quarter, and a fresh 5. 4 starters are back on the floor now for Kentucky, and Sheree Thomas also checks in.
Platoon basketball for Tubby Smith. A fresh 5 on the court now for the Cats.
Charles Rhodes back on the floor for Mississippi State. Jamont Gordon also on the floor, along with Reginald Delk, Barry Stewart, and Dietrich Slater. Dietrich Slater, where's number 22, has the ball right now. Just rejoined this team. Actually rejoined them on January 2nd. Missed the first 12 games of the year for an undisclosed violation of team rules. They're glad to have him back on the floor. One of only 2 seniors on the roster.
Great job defensively by the Cats, forcing yet another turnover from Mississippi State.
Kentucky 5 out of 15. Jasper got to the rim, had his shot changed by Charles Rhodes. Here comes Jamont Gordon. Barry Stewart pump fakes. Kicks it out now. Reginald Delk around to Gordon. His shot way off the mark. Here's Thomas.
State back playing man-to-man, and Randolph Morris seems like he kind of got winded early in the game. Hadn't been quite as active as he was to start this ball game. He's bleeding. He's got blood coming down his neck.
Joe Crawford gets the basket, but the story is Randolph Morris. Somebody caught Morris, and he has got some blood on it right above his eye. So they'll take a look at that. The big fella, the 6'11" post player. But Joe Crawford gets it to go down off the window. Bulldogs by 1. Coverage of tonight's Mississippi State-Kentucky game here on FSN is being brought to you by your Ford dealers. We're back inside Rupp Arena where Randolph Morris during that timeout had a cut closed up. Now has a bandage over his eye.
It's quite a bandage.
Randolph Morris, 3 out of 6 from the floor, 6 points, 3 rebounds. He leads everybody in scoring. They definitely need him on the floor. 4th in the league in scoring, 7th in rebounds, 3rd in field goal percentage, and 6th in blocks. Playing the way Tubby Smith had hoped he would play last year, but had to miss those first part of the season after all the turmoil surrounding his declaration of heading to the NBA and then coming back to school.
Randolph Morris vastly improved. You know, he's had a stat in the notes that Randolph Morris committed a foul as a freshman every nearly 7 minutes per game. 7 minutes on the court, Randolph Morris would commit a foul as a freshman and a sophomore. This year, he's playing about 13 minutes per foul committed.
Joe Crawford, that's a 3, his 2nd of the game.
Joe Crawford, his confidence sky high. 2 straight 20-point-plus performances for Joe Crawford. He's got this crowd going.
Kentucky by 2. Kentucky answers Mississippi's 8-0 run with an 8-0 run of their own. With a tie-up, it'll still be Mississippi State basketball. Joe Crawford now 9 out of 10 in his last 2.5 games from behind the arc, Barry. That is outstanding and almost hard to believe. Hard to do that in an open gym by yourself.
Yeah, and this one off the dribble with a hand in his face. And I think Joe Crawford is a lot better when he is driving to the basket, but when he can start knocking down the three-pointers in addition to his ability to get into the lane, he is almost impossible to guard.
Mississippi State 2 out of 7 on 3-point shots tonight. Kentucky 3 out of 8.
Shot clock down for State.
Long 3 by Delk off the iron. Good box out by Bobby Perry.
I don't think Mississippi State realized the shot clock didn't reset.
Bobby Perry didn't think, he just shot it and he knocked it down.
And everybody for Kentucky rushing to congratulate Bobby Perry. The crowd rising, recognizing Bobby Perry needing a little bit of confidence right now, as he has not played that well over the last month or so. But here he is stepping right into that shot, no hesitation, knocking home a 3.
In his last 7 games, Bobby Perry just shooting 31% from the field, 18% from behind the arc. He did have 2 out of 4 3-pointers against Auburn on Wednesday night, so maybe he's starting to come out of that shell a little bit. And Tubby Smith has told us, even last week when we had the Wildcats, that he really wanted Joe Crawford and Bobby Perry to step it up. We've seen Joe Crawford do that. Now the next step is to get this man on track.
Well, and Bobby Perry, the key to his game is the ability to hit that open shot. Because Randolph Morris is going to command so much attention inside, Perry will have open jumpers, and he needs to knock those out. And when he gets that going, the defense starts rushing at him, trying to get back to him out of the double team, and he can get to the basket as well.
The freshman Hansbrough, younger brother of Tyler Hansbrough of North Carolina, who, by the way, lost today to Virginia Tech. Tyler had 19 and 15 for the Tar Heels. And a hold underneath against Sheree Thomas on Charles Road. Tubby Smith, you look at this Kentucky defense. Tubby Smith is one thing that he is really proud about his team. They went to Maui, had a struggle out there. Team wasn't playing good defense, but I'm talking to him today. It's obvious that he is very pleased with the way his defense has improved in the last month.
He compared this team defensively to the 03 team with Cliff Hawkins spearheading that defense. That team that went 16-0 in conference, won the SEC tournament, and just was phenomenal and suffocating defensively. He compares this team favorably to that squad.
I don't know if they're quite there yet.
No, they're not even close to where that team was.
But it's an indication, though, that Coach Smith certainly thinks that his club, if they can score 65 points a game, he feels that defensively they're good enough to win those kind of contests.
Yeah, that's we talked to him today about how he teaches his system defensively and how complicated it is. And this team gets better and better defensively as the season goes along because it is somewhat complicated.
3-point Wildcat lead after the Gordon basket. Here's Bradley. Kicks it out to the corner. Thomas misfires badly. Rebound to Jamont Gordon. Jamont now with 3 rebounds, 4 points. Mississippi State's out-rebounded Kentucky by 3. Bulldogs are the second-best rebounding team in the SEC. Hansbrough, he'll line up a 3. Got it as he hit the floor.
Got that double screen on the set play. Hansbrough, Ben Hansbrough swinging out to the top of the key and drilling a 3. State hanging right in.
We've had 3 ties and 4 lead changes. Dump down to Randolph Morris, and he can't hold on to the basket. That's the second time Randolph has been a little lazy with the entry pass and lost the handle.
And he started the game playing with a lot of fire, but here in these last few minutes of the game, Randolph Morris has just seemed a bit lackadaisical on the court. This entry pass floats in there. Morris needs to go get that ball, make sure he catches it first. That time thinking about the defender behind him, trying to feel that defender and not concentrating on catching the basketball.
Tied at 21, 4:36 to go. Hansbrough off to Gordon. He'll kick it around to the corner. A 3 by Delp, no good. Here's Bradley, who will run the point. Out of the corner, Meeks around the rim and out. Gordon leading the charge, 2-on-1, takes it himself. Rhodes is there. He gets blocked from behind. Bradley can't save it. He crashes in to the photographers on the baseline.
A great opportunity for Mississippi State. Jamont Gordon in transition showed his strength and ball handling ability to get to the front of the rim, but then couldn't get it down. And then Sheree Thomas coming over the top of Charles Rhodes to block the shot and knock it away.
For the Bulldogs, this is their 4th game of their last 5 that has been on the road. Timeout taken by Mississippi State. It has been a tough road since right before the new year. They go to George Mason. They don't go home, and then on January 2nd they play at Missouri. Then they got to open up conference play at Tennessee. Then they go home, beat Ole Miss, and now they're back on the road to Kentucky. It has been a tough road trip, to say the least, for Mississippi State.
Coach Stansberry telling us that he wouldn't have scheduled those road games at the end of their pre-conference schedule if he had known how the conference schedule was going to start, but didn't get that schedule until mid-August, so the rest of the schedule already set. But Mississippi State, a very solid team. They're young, but they are very talented, just lacking experience right now.
Take a look at our Southeast Toyota trivia question. Who was the leading scorer for the Bulldogs the last time they won at Rupp Arena?
He's in the building.
You got to be good at your Bulldog basketball trivia to remember that. Their last win versus Kentucky was in 2002, but their last win at Rupp was in 1995.
As is the case with most teams in the SEC, Mississippi State has not had very much success in this building against the Wildcats.
Overall, at Rupp, Kentucky 396 and 51.
And only one loss to Mississippi State.
Crawford fires again, no good. And a push in the back. Sheree Thomas will pick up that foul. That'll be his second. Timeout on the floor. 3:41 to go. Opening half. We're tied at 21. Coverage of tonight's Mississippi State-Kentucky game here on FSN is being brought to you by RBRC. We are back inside Rupp Arena where we are tied at 21 between Mississippi State and Kentucky. Rick Stansberry, I think his club has kind of weathered the early storm. It was loud in here in this building. Kentucky got off to a good start, but his club certainly battled through that and went on a couple of nice runs, and we're tied at 21.
For the Kentucky native, Rick Stansberry, it's always big to come back and play in the home state against the Big Blue. Mississippi State has several Kentucky connections. Phil Cunningham, one of the assistants on the Kentucky staff, also a Kentucky native.
Neither team shooting well. Mississippi State at 32%, Kentucky at 36%, but these are two very good defensive teams. There won't be many easy baskets tonight.
Mississippi State has not done very well getting their big guy, Charles Rhodes, involved in this game.
Rhodes, 1 out of 5 from the floor, 2 points. He does have 6 rebounds. Rhodes came out a week ago today. Jackson newspaper front headline was, "I need to be starting." That didn't go over too well with his coach. He came off the bench at Tennessee the next day, but had a good game. Poured in 17 points, then got the start on Wednesday against Ole Miss and played pretty well again. So Rhodes back in the starting lineup.
And there aren't very many college basketball players that would express a sentiment any different than that. Everybody ought to be starting, they ought to be shooting every time down the court.
Bradley fires, top of the key, got it. Right over Jamont Gordon. That's their first point in 3.5 minutes.
A tough shot by Ramel Bradley. Jamont Gordon did a nice job getting back to Bradley, contesting that shot. But Ramel caught it and drilled it, playing with a lot of confidence right now.
Back to Charles Rhodes for just a second. Coach Stansberry told me, it's America. As Hansbrough knocks it down, it's America. Charles Rhodes can say what he wants to say, but the bottom line is I'm the coach, and he'll play when I say he plays.
How about Ben Hansbrough knocking out a couple of three-point shots in this ball game?
We've had 5 ties, 4 lead changes now. Here's a dump down to Randolph Morris. Nice bounce pass. And Harris can't get it to go down. Here come the Bulldogs.
Mississippi State taking care of their defensive backboards.
Yeah, they're winning the rebounding margin by 6, and there is the aforementioned Charles Rhodes with his second basket.
There's State looking for him, getting him involved, feeding that ball into Charles Rhodes as he ran the court in transition. Well, can Kentucky get back to getting their big guy involved?
They may not need to if Ramel Bradley keeps shooting the three-pointer like that. He's a 41% three-point shooter on the year. He's knocked down 36 already this year.
Asked Ramel Bradley before the game, who's the leader of this ball club? He said, that would be me. That is absolutely correct. He is a vocal guy. He looks like he's having a good time when Kentucky's going through their practices and before the game. He's the guy that gives his club energy.
Crawford knocked it out of Rhodes' hands, but a foul. And that'll go against Bradley.
That'll be his first, and the team.
That'll be his first.
The lineup of the Bulldogs are Stewart and Bell. Jasper goes in for the Cats.
Coming up on our Chevrolet halftime report, we will hear from Mr. Randolph Morris. Get a little hometown feel. He'll hear from our 2 radio announcers for Kentucky and Mississippi State, plus we'll have some highlights as well.
Very entertaining ball game to this point.
Yeah, not many fouls either. I was just looking. A total of 8 fouls between the 2 teams.
6 of them on the home team.
Rhodes saves it, but right to Bradley. Shot clock now turned off.
But Kentucky with numbers. Cats couldn't take advantage of it. Now they'll hold for the final shot. of the first half.
Tubby Smith wants a timeout with 14 seconds to go. He will get the 30-second timeout. While we have this break, let's revisit our Southeast Toyota trivia question. And who was the leading scorer for the Bulldogs the last time they won at Rupp Arena?
Marcus Grant, 23 points, 7 assists in that 76-71 win, February of '95 here at Rupp Arena.
That was a good basketball team under Richard Williams. Won 22 games. Went to the NCAA tournament that year. Now the coordinator of basketball operations. I was in Missouri watching, calling the Mississippi State-Missouri game. Got there for practice the day before the game. And when I first walked in there, I was like, he was practicing on the floors. They're doing a full court scrimmage situation. And I was like, who's that guy? He can play.
He looks good, doesn't he?
Then I realized
out of eligibility.
Yeah, that's a shame if you're Rick Stansberry.
Well, a dogfight on the hands of that man, Tubby Smith. Kentucky holding for one shot here. They have won every ball game this year when they have led at halftime. Mississippi State has lost every game that they have trailed at halftime. And maybe some indication of what's going to happen. Kentucky leading by 1 here in the final stages of the first half.
Here's Jasper. And a reach-in foul against the Bulldogs, but that's okay if you're Mississippi State because you had plenty of fouls to give. Yep. And it'll be a ball out of bounds with 2.3 seconds left.
But underneath the basket. So Mississippi State has to defend the basket first. You want to force Kentucky to catch that basketball out above the three-point line in this situation.
Morris lost the handle. Gordon has it. Lets it go from midcourt. And it's shy. So a good defensive stand to end the half for the Bulldogs in a low-scoring affair. 27-26. Kentucky leads it. The Bulldogs shoot 35%. The Wildcats shoot 38%. We will come back with our halftime activity. Stay with us. We're back inside Rupp Arena, Mississippi State. Down by 1 on the road to the Kentucky Wildcats, who have won 9 consecutive basketball games. Dave Neal back alongside my partner Barry Booker. And really this Kentucky team came out a lot of emotion in this building. This crowd very much involved in the game, but Mississippi State withstood that. And I think that was probably an impressive thing from a very young team. Rick Stansberry has to be pretty happy only down 1.
Yeah, definitely. Mississippi State has played well defensively. They've taken care of the backboards and not let Kentucky just run off with the emotion in this building.
And one of the key players off the bench, a man who had started 9 games in a row for Mississippi State, was Ben Hansbrough, but coming off the bench the last 2, he had 9, Barry, in that first half.
Yeah, did a nice job taking advantage of the opportunities he had. He hit a three-pointer early in his time on the court, and State kept looking for him, trying to get him involved, and he knocked down a couple of three-point shots. 9 points in a low-scoring game, very big for Coach Stansberry off that bench.
On the flip side, Randolph Morris got off to a great start. Then it was Joe Crawford, who just continues to play well on the offensive end.
Yeah, Kentucky really got going with Randolph Morris getting a lot of touches in this ball game, and then Joe Crawford got rolling as he continues his hot shooting, really playing well for Kentucky.
Well, Randolph Morris did get a little bump over the eye, had some blood, has a big bandage over that eye. I'm sure they're looking at it right now, but they'll need him to have a good second half as well. And Barry, guess what? In the second segment of our halftime,
about a Randolph Morris feature.
How about that? So when we come back, we will introduce you to the big fella from right here in Lexington, Kentucky. It's 27-26 as the Chevy halftime report continues. And welcome back to our Chevy halftime report as we continue from Lexington, Kentucky, the Wildcats and the Bulldogs. Now, this Kentucky team has won 9 consecutive games. A big part of that is Randolph Morris, the big man in the middle, is off to a great start in his junior campaign. Let's get to know him just a little bit better.
Randolph Morris, 6'10", 256. Forward center, University of Kentucky. Glad to be back in blue. We're number 33 because tribute to my mom. My mom's old number. Came to UK because nobody else wanted me.
How come nobody else wanted you?
Just being sarcastic. I am a very sarcastic person. What's got important with me is I'm a banger down low. I'll wear you down. This year I plan on proving all the critics wrong. Our perimeter game this year is getting the ball to us down low. Front court this year will be dominating the whole league because we've worked hard in the offseason, in the weight room, and now we're demanding from each other. My favorite thing about Coach Smith is the way he yells at us nonstop to get us better. Whatever's funny, I'll take it. Besides me, watch out for Joe Crawford. Very explosive player, great scorer. Defense is underestimated. My favorite thing about Kentucky is the whole basketball tradition and the atmosphere. The favorite thing about playing in Rupp Arena is the crazy fans that support us nonstop. Because UK fans are the most diehard fans in any aspect of sport in the world. I'm excited for the season to start because we start practicing so much. The reason people should look out for UK is great basketball to watch and very entertaining. This year, I think UK is going to be a Cinderella story. That's all I got. Hope to see you soon.
Well, the junior out of Atlanta is averaging 16.5 points, over 8 rebounds a game in his junior campaign. Pretty good stuff from Randolph Moore. Stay with us. We'll have more of our Chevy Halftime Report right after this. Kentucky leads 27-26. The Bulldogs have lost 9 straight SEC road games, trying to snap that streak tonight. We'll come back, have second half basketball. Thanks for watching our Chevy Halftime Report. Kentucky leads 27-26, moments away from second half basketball. And as we revisit some of those first half highlights, we thought we'd give you a little hometown flavor by adding the play-by-play calls of Tom Leach of Kentucky and Jack Crystal of Mississippi State.
Jasper drives it to the free throw line, has a pass picked off by Richard Delk, who takes it to the opposite end.
And Crawford get a clean look at the end of the game on a kick out from Randolph Morris.
Mississippi State's winning the rebounding battle. Pulls off the rebound, fires it up to Crawford at midcourt. Crawford takes it down the right side, puts it between his legs, pull up off the right wing for 3. That's good. Oh my goodness. Good defense by Kentucky to force them into that kind of shot, and the Cats have the ball. Perry, top of the key, 3, good. Catch it, shoot it. Good to see Bob. Left wing. Back to Bradley. They swing it to Meeks, who feeds Morris down on the right block. Almost fell down, kicks it out to Bradley. Straight away, 3, good.
Nice kick out by Randolph Morris. First, Cats showed patience.
Those are some of those first half highlights. A couple of 8-0 runs by each team, and pretty much indicative of where we are as we look at those first half stats.
And Mississippi State doing it on the backboards, leading Kentucky 20 rebounds to 14. And the difference there, 6 offensive rebounds for Mississippi State, none for Kentucky.
Not one offensive rebound. Randolph Morris with that bandage over his eye. Had a nice stream of blood going about midway through the first half. I had to stop play and let him work on that. And a turnover right out of the gates. Here comes Jamon Gordon, who had 5 turnovers himself in the first half. And the putback by Bernardo won't go. His tip did not go. 3 chances for the Bulldogs. And here's another opportunity. Rhodes. 4 opportunities.
How about Derek Jasper, the point guard at 6'6", able to contest Charles Rhodes, probably the only point guard in the Southeastern Conference that could give Rhodes a battle going in for that layup.
Morris hit his first 2 shots of the game from that spot, but hasn't had much luck since. It is basically one and done for Kentucky on the offensive end.
Yeah, Mississippi State doing a great job on the backboards, taking care of business so far in this ballgame.
We have had 4 ties, 6 lead changes. Jump ball, arrow favors Mississippi State, 17 on the shot clock. The largest lead for Mississippi State has been 6. The largest Kentucky lead has been 5.
Nice job slipping the screen. Charles Rhodes faked like he was going to set the screen, then rolled to the basket. Delk got it in there to him, but Rhodes couldn't get the shot off over the strong Kentucky defense. Kentucky settling back into a zone on the inline out of bounds situation.
Here's Rhodes, another offensive rebound, but then threw it away. Rhodes looks at Jamon Gordon and says, my fault, don't worry about it.
Again.
Now Jamon said, no, my fault.
But again, Mississippi State getting the additional opportunities. They are hitting the backboards.
Jasper strong to the basket, draws the foul.
And Jasper initiated that contact, jumped into Jarvis Bernardo, who is an excellent shot blocker. Bernardo just waiting, hanging back.
That's his first team first.
That foul going against the defender, as it typically does. Bernardo doing a good job. I thought he stood in there well. Just kind of came down with his arms a little bit. He gave up that foul.
Derek Jasper at 6'6", 213 pounds. Will be a tough matchup for most teams in the league. But against Mississippi State, they can go with Jamon Gordon to defend him. Jamon not as tall, but certainly as physical as any guard in this league.
Jasper, it is a luxury for Kentucky to have a player that big playing the point role.
Here's Rhodes off the handoff from Bernardo. Jasper, the 6'6" guard, goes in and gets the defensive rebound.
Can go in there and rebound. Also can play defense around the basket for Kentucky.
Here's the double. Perry swatted by Bernardo. Where did he come from? Morris pull up to Perry. Here's Bradley. He'll try to create. 5 on the shot clock. Crawford takes it in and blocked by Bernardo, but he got him with the body.
And again, the freshman called for the foul going after the block shot. Good job by Kentucky, not settling for the jumper as the shot clock wound down. Crawford took it to the basket and will end up at the line. Strong move to the basket by Joe Crawford as Kentucky, the shot clock wound down because Mississippi State did a great job defending the shot opportunities that Kentucky had. They never got one up on the rim.
Crawford, a 61% foul shooter on the year. Just now, he's now 27 out of 45 on the year. A junior out of Detroit, Michigan. Kentucky by 4.
Full court pressure by Kentucky after the made foul shots. It's where Mississippi State, a young basketball team, don't have a true point guard on this club. They'll have trouble against Kentucky's pressure.
Here's Gordon. Shot clock hits 10. Off to Delk. Little runner and a blocking foul. Count the basket. Three-point opportunity on the way.
Aggressive move by Reginald Delk. He is normally a catch-and-shoot guy. Catch it on that wing and take a three-point shot. But this time he attacks the basket. Bobby Perry called for the block. As Delk left the floor, Perry still moving a little bit, sliding just a bit, trying to get that charge. and it goes Mississippi State's way, and Reginald Delk a chance for the old school three-point play.
Crowd obviously did not like it, but I think Perry was definitely had a little slide.
Yeah.
So free throws on the way for Reginald Delk. He and his brother Richard, the twins. Richard wears number 1. He's 30 minutes older than Reginald. Of course, they are the nephews of former Kentucky standout guard Tony Delk, who played here back in the mid-90s, won a national title with the Wildcats back in 1996. The Delk twins out of Jackson, Tennessee.
Tony Delk, number 5 scorer all time at Kentucky.
Bobby Perry comes back and knocks down the jumper. 4-point Wildcat lead.
There's a nice aggressive move by Bobby Perry. The shot fake, putting it on the floor to get the pull-up jumper down for Kentucky.
Gordon going baseline. Reverse layup, the second time he's done that tonight.
Basket by Gordon.
Jamont Gordon, tough to handle when he puts it on the floor. He is a load, a lot of quickness, great ball handler. Does a great job when he's driving to the basket.
Morris can't get it to go down. Here's Perry. Free throw line jumper is good. And for Bobby Perry, he's got 7. He's at his season average already.
And I think he's back. Playing with confidence now. He's hit a three-point shot. That pull-up jumper a few moments ago, and then that spot-up shot. I think Bobby Perry's back to his old self.
4-point game. Gordon triple team, still got the shot off. Loose ball on the floor. Bernardo battling with Jasper. It will be Kentucky basketball. Bobby Perry getting it going here at home. 7 points, a couple of rebounds, 2 assists, and his Wildcats lead it by 4. Coverage of tonight's Mississippi State-Kentucky game here on FSN is being brought to you by Dodge. Kentucky with a 9-game winning streak on the line tonight inside Rupp Arena. They've also won 9 straight inside this building as well. But tonight they're shooting just 38%. Mississippi State 33%. Behind the arc, the Bulldogs 4 out of 12. Kentucky 6 out of 14.
Mississippi State doing a great job on the backboards. That is keeping them in this ball game. They're getting some additional opportunities with offensive rebounds where Kentucky is not.
Kentucky will inbound it. Ben Hansbrough on the floor now for the Bulldogs along with Dietrich Slater. Stevenson on the floor now for the Wildcats as Randolph Morris hits the bench. Bradley. Hansbrough might have gotten a piece of that shot. It was well short of the iron.
That's just a really difficult shot with Hansbrough trailing Ramel Bradley. He had to squeeze that shot off in a hurry in order to beat the defender. And that's just a bad decision by Bradley to try to take that shot in such a hurry. Mississippi State, Ben Hansbrough back on the court. Great first half for him.
Slater, an offensive rebound. He had 6 of those against Ole Miss on his way to a 16-point, 12-rebound evening on Wednesday night.
Big basket for Dietrich Slater. Mississippi State back within 2.
Bulldogs just won't go away. They have played well in some hostile environments. They won at Miami. They go to Clemson. They were up in that game late. Could not hold the lead. They go to Missouri, led by 10 in the second half. Couldn't hold that lead before losing. They go to Tennessee. They led by as many as 3 points in the second half and 1 point really late. Couldn't hold that lead. I mean, this is a team that's been very close.
They are very talented. This is just a club that still lacks experience. They're playing a lot of freshmen and sophomores, counting on those players to make plays coming down the stretch. And the foul shooting has been the big problem for Mississippi State. At the end of games, just not able to close the deal by knocking out foul shots.
We talked to Tennessee about that today.
Yeah.
On the road at Ohio State, even Chris Lofton, the 3rd best free throw shooter in the country, misses the front end of a 1-and-1.
Tough week for the Vols. They go on the road, lose by 1 at Vanderbilt and by 2 at Ohio State.
Boy, good hustle by Kentucky. Ramel Bradley into the Gatorade cooler. keeps it alive. This is a lengthy possession. Bradley well off the mark. Hansbrough tips it around, and then a foul against the Bulldogs' Barry Stewart. I believe so. That'll be his second, fourth on the team.
Here's Kentucky getting some additional opportunities with their hustle, going after some offensive rebounds, chasing down the basketball when it's loose. Kentucky getting the extra opportunities here with their hustle.
Jody Meeks, a very talented freshman, back on the floor. He'll replace Ramel Bradley. Bradley will probably only be on that bench for about a minute or two.
Interesting lineup on the court now for Kentucky without Randolph Morris in the game. A lot of guys that are similar size, interchangeable parts.
Stevenson, good move to the basket. Here's Gordon back the other way. Strong move right through a bunch of white jerseys.
And again, when Mississippi State gets to it in a hurry, when they rush that basketball down the court, they get some good scoring opportunities.
Crawford tries to draw the foul. No whistle. He looks at J.B. Caldwell on the baseline, but no call. He'll take the two, though. Hansbrough looking for another three. That won't go. Here's Joe Crawford. Pull up, free throw line. Too strong. Tipped around. Here's Rhodes. Meeks getting back. And there's Jasper with those long arms.
Great anticipation by Derek Jasper to get a hand on the basketball.
Crawford. Here's Slater now in a blocking foul as Dietrich Slater hit the deck.
I think everybody on the court is happy with the blown whistle here. Catch your breath, boys.
A little bit sloppy and erratic. That'll be the second team foul and the first on Jasper.
End-to-end action. Both teams hustling the ball up and down the court.
Crawford will take a seat. Sheree Thomas on the floor. Bradley already back on. He was out for, a good 45 seconds.
Coming out will be Bobby Perry.
Bobby Perry also making his way to the bench. Michael Porter on the floor for Derek Jasper. So pretty much fresh lineups all the way around.
I'm so impressed with Derek Jasper, the freshman guard for Kentucky. Plays with such savvy, such intelligence, great anticipation. The Kentucky point guard.
Barry Stewart's been quiet tonight. He is scoreless for Mississippi State. Here's Porter. Meeks. Here's Thomas in the corner. Back to Stevenson. And the horn sounds again. It sounds like a fire alarm. It went off in the first half. Bradley to the basket. Lost the handle.
Well, Kentucky without Randolph Morris or Joe Crawford on the court right now, struggling for offense.
Stewart knocks down the three. Count the basket. Timeout on the floor. I believe the whistle was stopped to see about that horn, but as soon as they blew the whistle, the horn stopped. Doesn't matter for Rick Stansberry. His club's within one. On the road, 38-37, 11:58 to go. Full house inside Rupp Arena on this rainy Saturday night in Lexington, Kentucky. Glad you could join us on FSN for an SEC Saturday night double dip. Ole Miss in our first game knocks off Arkansas at home in a game that went down to the final wire. Two-point win by the Rebels, the team that lost to Kentucky by 10 on Saturday. It has been a weird start to this league, has it not?
It has been a little bit odd, but the home team usually wins. And that continues to be the case so far this season. And Mississippi State, nice job here on the road so far for the Bulldogs, giving the Cats all they want so far in this one.
Porter saw the double team, got rid of it in a hurry. Here's Stevenson back to Porter. He's had 1 3 on the evening. Joe Crawford back on the floor. Long three. Off the front of the iron, but the follow by Stevenson.
Perry Stevenson has started 5 games for the Wildcats and leads this team in dunks with 15 now on the season.
One of the few times the Bulldogs didn't box out.
Yeah, they have done a great job on the defensive board so far, but Kentucky has hustled on the backboards lately. They've come up with some baskets and some extra opportunities. Stevenson, the finish there.
And the finish by Reginald Delk. Reginald now with 8 in the game, his second 3. Here's Porter. He had an open look and didn't pull the trigger.
The game tied once again off that Reginald Delk jumper.
It'll be Kentucky basketball as Delk was on the sideline. 21 on the shot clock. Porter, an excellent shooter. Surprised he didn't let it go on that wide open look.
Well, he didn't know what was in front of him that time. Didn't realize he was wide open. And that's the advantage when the ball goes inside and comes back out. You know where the defense is. You know where you are on the court. When you catch the ball on a perimeter-to-perimeter pass, it's difficult to know where the defense is and that you're right at the three-point line.
Sheree Thomas misfires. Joe Crawford kept alive. He'll shoot the 3. Got it!
Michael Porter, the nice setup to Joe Crawford. Good job that time by Crawford, getting his feet set, getting square to the basket to knock down the jumper.
Crawford with 14 points to lead everybody. 3 out of 5 behind the arc. And a moving screen against Vernon Goodrich, and Rick Stansberry knows it.
Joe Crawford having another excellent night. He's had 2 straight 20-point-plus performances for Kentucky against Ole Miss and then Wednesday night against Auburn. And Crawford again having a really good night.
Here's Bradley. Back to Stevenson. Porter. Shot clock goes under 10. And a tripping foul underneath against Stevenson. Good defensive stand by the Bulldogs.
Yeah, good defense. It was a good look by Ramel Bradley, but Mississippi State's hustling defense able to contest that pass and then finally get it away from the Wildcats. Watch Bradley drive down the baseline, and he finds Stevenson there around the basket. I think that was Richard Delk able to reach in, knock the basketball away, and get possession for Mississippi State.
Jamont Gordon back on the floor, strong to the basket. That's what he does best.
There's not a shot blocker on the court right now for Kentucky, so Jamont Gordon takes it in there and able to lay it in, although Stevenson, a very good shot blocker, now to get over to contest that shot from Gordon.
Tapped around, Barry Stewart has it.
Smart play by Stewart, recognizing that the Dogs didn't have the numbers in that situation, so they slow it down.
Gordon now with 10, trying to add to that. Won't go. Goodrich had a tip. Didn't happen. Here's Bradley. Ramel in the lane. Left-hander off the window. Goes down. Ramel Bradley with 8.
A good aggressive move by Ramel Bradley in transition, one-on-one. He would not be denied, able to bang home the short jumper. This crowd trying to help the Wildcats along. Pesky Mississippi State club hanging right in there.
Gordon again to the basket, drew the foul.
Well, he is so strong around the basket. He's driven it in there the last 3 trips for Mississippi State. Had good opportunities to score, and here he is at the foul line. Jamont Gordon using that shot fake. A solid 3-point shooter, so you have to respect that. And then he gets you a little bit off balance. He is so strong that if he is even with you, there's no way you're going to catch up with him without fouling.
Jamont Gordon against Tennessee, 25 points. 11 rebounds, 9 assists. Could have been the second player at Mississippi State to have a triple-double, the other being Lawrence Roberts.
Jamont doing a better job taking care of the basketball in the second half here as well. Mississippi State only 3 second half turnovers.
and none by Jamont. But he will pick up the foul. Talking to Rick Stansberry, we asked him about his turnover situation. Coming in, Jamont Gordon is a young man that has 72 assists, but 66 turnovers. That's a ton. He says, you know what, though? He does so many other things well that it's just something that I have to live with. Obviously, I wouldn't want those turnovers. I would love them reduced, but it comes with the territory.
And nearly 4.5 turnovers a game. I think Jamont Gordon would do better and would turn it over a lot less if he's not playing that point guard role where he's asked to handle the basketball so much.
Bobby Perry fighting underneath. Couldn't get it to go. Kicks it out to Bradley. In and out. It will be Wildcat basketball.
Good call by Rick Crawford there. That off the arm of a Mississippi State Bulldog, and Kentucky getting possession.
Kentucky's done a better job on the glass this half, Barry. They've closed the gap to just 2, 30-28. Gordon grabs the rebound, and for Jamont, that's his 6th rebound, 10 points, 2 assists, and 5 turnovers.
Bobby Perry didn't get that jumper down, but it's good to see him aggressive, back playing with confidence now for Kentucky.
Barry Stewart fires off a screen. That's a 3. And it's a 1-point Mississippi State lead on the road.
Barry Stewart heating up.
Randolph Morris fouled by Jarvis Bernardo, the freshman out of Brownsville, Tennessee.
Third team 7th timeout on the floor.
We've had 5 ties. We've had 7 lead changes. And right now the Bulldogs lead it by 1. 7:51 to play in Lexington. Mississippi State leads it by 1. They haven't won inside Rupp Arena since 1995. 7:51 to play in the game. Time for our forward edge of your seat play of the game. And the follow by Perry Stevenson. Perry getting a lot of minutes, a 6'9" freshman out of Lafayette, Louisiana.
Great game here in Lexington today with Mississippi State ahead by 1.
Take a look at some scores as we are the nightcap on a busy day of SEC basketball. Florida, no trouble at South Carolina. Tennessee, as we said, misses free throws down the stretch. They lose by 2 at Ohio State. And LSU wins that one by 2, 65-63. Vandy, and also you can flip-flop that. Georgia beats Vanderbilt, 85-73 as well.
Ole Miss picking up a win at home against Arkansas.
Right now, there are people that probably with the volume turned down going,
wow, surprises. Yeah, that'll teach them to listen to us.
Randolph Morris to the free throw line for the first time tonight.
He has been very quiet. Came out and he took 5 of the first 6 shots of this game for Kentucky. But Randolph Morris has been quiet since that stage of the game. The Cats need to get him involved, get him going. Coming down the stretch here is Morris, only 7 field goal attempts to this point, I believe.
He is 3 out of 9 from the floor. He has 8 points, 5 rebounds. He's had a double-double in 5 of the last 8 games and 3 of the last 4. We've had 8 lead changes now after those 2 made free throws. A low-scoring affair here in Lexington, but a game that Tubby Smith expected. He said this Mississippi State team scratches and claws with the best of them.
Will they have the confidence now to finish this ball game, come up with a win here in Rupp Arena? A young team, a lot of freshmen and sophomores.
Delk, one of those sophomores, strong to the basket, another lead change, but that's the million-dollar question for Mississippi State. I think they have enough talent to play with anybody. Can they close the deal?
Yeah, will they hit their free throws? Will they limit their turnovers coming down the stretch?
Here's Gordon, off the missed shot. Rhodes with the jam.
Great push by Jamont Gordon. Came up with that basketball, hit Charles Rhodes where all he needed to do was catch it and stuff it.
Gordon nearly a steal. Jasper strong to the basket. He responds for the Wildcats.
Well, you know Kentucky is going to play with poise and confidence. An experienced group of Wildcats on the court. But can Mississippi State maintain their poise coming down the stretch of a tight ball game? And this is the first trip for a lot of these guys into Rupp Arena. The Dogs didn't come here last year, of course, with the East-West division of the SEC basketball schedule.
Here's Barry Stewart. Shot clock at 6. Gets a screen from Bernardo. Hits the iron, tapped around, batted around. Bradley has it. A chance for Kentucky to take the lead.
Now Kentucky needs to look for Randolph Morris on this possession, get him involved in this game coming down the stretch.
Mississippi State has done a nice job of making it a half-court game. Perry misses. Morris, offensive rebound. He's fouled. Free throws on the way. That was probably the most aggressive we've seen Randolph Morris around the basket tonight.
And the Cats didn't look for him, but when you're a big guy, your team doesn't always have to get you the basketball. You can go get your own shot by aggressively going after an offensive rebound. And that's what Randolph Morris does here. Goes after that Bobby Perry miss, works his way to the foul line for Kentucky.
So Morris steps up to the free throw line. Morris 2 out of 2, make it 2 out of 3 now. Jamont Gordon, by the way, just picked up his 3rd foul. Patrick Slater and Reginald Delk back on the floor. Barry Stewart and Jarvis Bernardo head to that Bulldog bench.
Randolph Morris has struggled lately from the foul line, a 61% shooter on the season, but he's only 4 of 10 in his last 2 ball games in SEC play now. Only 4 of 10 coming into this one.
We are tied at 50. 5.5 to go in Lexington. It's our 7th tie. Gordon kicks it to Delk. Richard Delk kicks it out to his twin brother Reginald. The twin combination of Delk to Delk.
And Richard, the former point guard, knowing where his brother was going to be on that play, driving the baseline, found the very good shooter, Reginald Delk. And the Dogs lead by 3.
In a spot that their uncle, Tony Delk, knocked down more than his share of threes. And a pushing foul against Joe Crawford.
Kentucky has become very perimeter oriented of late. They have not gotten the ball into the paint, either off the dribble or by feeding it inside to Randolph Morris. And consequently, they're struggling to score on their end of the court.
We have had a ton of three-point shots in this game. 21 attempts by Kentucky, 18 attempts by Mississippi State.
Mississippi State hitting a better percentage, hitting 8. Kentucky only 7 of 21. And the Dogs doing a nice job getting it around the basket, too.
Rhodes lost it on his back. Here's Jasper. And a blocking foul. Count the basket. A three-point opportunity on the way for the Wildcats.
This freshman point guard, Derek Jasper, making another big play for Kentucky. So poised, so under control. An impressive player for the Cats, and there he is slashing to the basket. Jamont Gordon trying to get in position to draw that charge, picking up his 4th foul on the play.
With 4:36 to go in the game, Derek Jasper with a chance to tie it up, but Derek not an outstanding free throw shooter by any stretch of the imagination. Tonight he's 3 out of 4, but on the year he's just a 53% shooter, but gets that to go down, and guess what? We're tied again.
Derek Jasper has not played coming down the stretch of a lot of games because of his poor foul shooting. Tonight he's shooting them very well and may earn time at the end of this game.
And then Jasper grabbed the rebound, knocked out of his hands. It'll be Kentucky basketball. Slater hit the floor. Boy, Jasper has, while he hasn't exactly lit it up offensively, he does have 8 points, but it's the other things, Barry. He has 8 rebounds. He has a couple of assists. He's kept balls alive.
Yeah.
He's played solid defense. He's blocked a few shots. I mean, he has been everywhere tonight.
An impressive young player, and you see him directing traffic a little bit on the court as well. You know, he is becoming a leader for this ball club despite being only a freshman. You have to have that from your point guard, a guy who understands what's going on, able to get all the players on the court into the right position.
Here's Jasper, finds Morris.
And again, Derek Jasper making the right play. I talked about Kentucky not threatening the basket these last few minutes of the game. That time Jasper gets it into Randolph Morris's hands for the easy shot.
And a reach-in foul. That will quiet the very loud Rupp Arena crowd. A foul on Derek Jasper. That'll be his second. And that'll take us to a timeout. It is getting rowdy inside Rupp Arena. Why not? We've got a good one on our hands. 55-53 Wildcats. SEC Saturday night continues from Lexington, Kentucky, where the Wildcats lead it by 2. Take another look at our SEC scoreboard, and we'll run through these one more time now that they are operational. Florida, big day from Lee Humphrey, career high 27. Tennessee loses by 2 as they can't make a free throw down the stretch. LSU in a very sloppy game. Both teams turned it over a ton. They win by 2 at home. Georgia beats Vanderbilt by a dozen in Athens, and a good win for Andy Kennedy. He gets his first SEC victory as a head coach.
Good ball game underway here. Dogs giving Kentucky all they want here at Rupp Arena.
Reginald Delk gets a screen from Dietrich Slater. Shot clock approaching 10. Gordon with 4 fouls to the basket. Blocked by Jasper.
Another big play by Derek Jasper. Great defense.
Jasper lost the handle. And Morris. That is the 3rd time he's done that tonight. But kept alive by Sheree Thomas. The alley-oop to Morris. Won't go down.
Well, a nice pass by Meeks. Randolph Morris just not looking for that pass.
Blocked by Thomas. Here's Morris being chased down by Delk. Swatted it out of his hands. A foul on the way.
Good hustle by Richard Delk. Going to force Randolph Morris to hit 2 foul shots instead of getting 2 points off the dunk. Kentucky blocking shots. Jasper a few moments ago. And then Sheree Thomas blocking that shot to start the fast break for Kentucky. Richard Delk, all he can do is hustle back and foul, force Randolph Morris to go to the line.
Randolph Morris still bending over, trying to catch his breath. I'll be interested to see if how these foul shots go. Morris, 61% on the year, 3 out of 4 tonight. Perfect.
Big ones for Kentucky, and down the stretch of this ball game, Kentucky in the keys. You got to take care of the basketball. You got to hit your foul shots. Kentucky getting that done. Mississippi State having a tough time getting their shot blocks. Those are turnovers, allowing Kentucky to get into transition and get some easy opportunities.
Only 3 free throw attempts for the Bulldogs tonight. Morris gets them both. 13 points, 6 rebounds for Randolph Morris as Kentucky stretches this run out to a 7-0 gap, and they have built a 4-point advantage.
I mentioned Mississippi State only 3 free throw attempts. Kentucky 10 of 13 from the line is one of the differences in this ball game, with Kentucky up by 4.
Here's Meeks. He's guarding Gordon. Tough shot. Oh, how did it go down?
How did he not get called for traveling? Jamont Gordon, that strength around the basket, fighting through 2 or 3 Kentucky defenders for 2.
Well, you got the switch. You got Jasper off of him. He had Meeks off of him. That was the first time he's had a chance to even look at the iron. Jasper's been all over him of late.
He had that double team coming. He stepped through, able to get the basket. And now Kentucky starting to work on that clock as Mississippi State settling into the 2-3 zone and looking for points right now.
In a 2-point game, you don't want to whittle it down to where you get a bad shot, though. Crawford picks it up. Here's Bradley. Jasper out of the corner. Blocked. Shot clock violation.
Great defense by Mississippi State. And with Randolph Morris out of the game, Kentucky doesn't have that interior presence to get the ball inside. They need to penetrate against this zone defense as Charles Rhodes blocks the shot by Derek Jasper. forced the shot clock violation.
Mississippi State, the best shot blocking team in the conference. Over 7 blocks a game, the biggest by Charles Rhodes moments ago. We have packed in over 24,000. 24,072 to be exact inside Rupp Arena tonight. Time for our Dodge drive of the game, and it's got to be Jamont Gordon. He's done this all night.
Yeah, we could have chosen several drives that Jamont Gordon has made to the basket, but that one our choice for the Dodge drive of the game. Jamont Gordon getting it to the basket. That's what Mississippi State needs to do. There it is, great numbers for Jamont Gordon.
And the biggest is 0 turnovers in the second half.
Yeah, after 5 in the first half, Jamont's done a nice job taking care of the ball in the second half.
All right, with 1:30 to go, 2 timeouts for Mississippi State, 4 for Kentucky. Rhodes, his putback finally goes down. And Mississippi State uses one of those 2 timeouts, but Charles Rhodes stays with it. And now we're tied at 57.
And a nice set by Mississippi State. They wanted to get it inside to their all-SEC performer, Charles Rhodes, get him going down low. He couldn't get the first shot down, but he stayed after it, got that offensive rebound. And Mississippi State pulls into yet another tie against the Wildcats.
You look at this season, what these numbers mean for Mississippi State and how they have been playing so many young players. The freshmen and sophomore make up 82% of their points, 77% of their rebounds, 91% of their assists, and 83% of their minutes.
And here they are on the road with this very young basketball team tied up with Kentucky with 1:24 left to play. If you had asked Coach Stansbury how he'd like that, I'm sure he would have taken it. Liked his chances at coming out of here with a victory, getting down to the last 90 seconds in a tie ball game.
Well, this isn't the first close ball game on the road for the Bulldogs. We've documented their efforts on the road this year. They win at Miami, but lose at Clemson, lose at Missouri, lose at Tennessee. Ball games that they all had a chance to win. Here's Jasper. Off to Ramel Bradley.
Kentucky now has Randolph Morris back in the game. They need to let him touch it.
Crawford dumps it to Morris. In traffic off the window.
Excellent drive by Joe Crawford, drawing the defense, allowing Randolph Morris to get 2.
We have had 9 ties and 11 lead changes. Gordon. Tied up, jump ball. Arrow favors Kentucky.
And now Mississippi State, they're down by 2, but there's an 8-second difference between shot clock and game clock, so the Dogs don't have to foul as Jamont Gordon got around the basket, and Randolph Morris able to reach in, get a hand on the basketball, and force the tie-up situation.
Timeout, Kentucky.
Timeout, Kentucky. The game clock ran for about an extra second and a half. Mike Eads over there at the scorer's table will check that out, but a quick timeout taken by Tubby Smith. There should be a little over, well, close to 38 seconds at least on the game clock. The shot clock stopped. But if you're Tubby Smith, you know, in that last set, Mississippi State went into that 2-3 zone. Do you still just try to find and force it in there to Randolph Morris?
That's what you got to do. That will force the zone to collapse. And Randolph Morris, if he feels that he has a good shot opportunity, he'll take it or be able to kick it back out to the very good shooters that Kentucky will have on the court. But the most important thing for Kentucky right now will be to take away as much of this game clock as they possibly can on this possession.
Quick update. Randolph Morris leads everybody with 15. Crawford with 14. Nobody else in double figures for Kentucky. And Jamont Gordon, the only player in double figures for Mississippi State with 13 points. You see what Randolph Morris has done in terms of his production as a freshman all the way up to his junior year. Getting better and better.
And what has improved so much for Randolph Morris is his decision making. You can give the basketball to him right now and know that he's going to make a quality decision. He'll either take the shot or find the open shooter out on the perimeter for Kentucky.
I like a little 2-man game here with Joe Crawford and Randolph Morris. Joe behind the arc, 3 out of 6. He has 14 points, and he's been your hot hand the last couple of games.
can't tell. It looks like Mississippi State is going back to a man-to-man defense right now.
And we get the clock situation hopefully finalized. J.B. Caldwell talking to Mike Eads on the far side. And they will put I think the shot clock stopped.
Yeah, I think there was I thought there was an 8-second difference between shot clock and game clock when after Mississippi State turned that basketball over.
Well, here's the deal. 38.4 on the game clock, 31 on the shot clock.
Kentucky trying to melt this clock away as Mississippi State is back in no man-to-man. So we'll see Kentucky run this shot clock down as far as they can, and then they'll run that pick and roll play that they like up at the top of the key.
Trying to dump it to Morris. He's fouled by Charles Rhodes, but free throws on the way. There was no doubt that ball was going to hit 33 no matter what.
Well, Kentucky ran a set trying to get the ball into the hands of Randolph Morris. They're able to find him inside with Rhodes playing behind Morris. And now Kentucky, if Morris can make these 2 foul shots, will be in control of this ball game.
Morris, 5 out of 6 tonight.
Big foul shots. You know, at the end of the game, the pressure is because of your teammates relying on you. Everything riding on you making these foul shots. And Randolph Morris stepping up and knocking them home.
And he got them both. That is just big-time clutch free throw shooting by Randolph Morris.
Now Mississippi State down by 4. They will try to rush the ball down the court as quickly as they can, attack the basket first. If they can, they'll kick it out and take a 3-point shot. But they'll try to get it around the basket and take a layup. See if Kentucky will just back off them and give them a layup.
As a team, Kentucky not an outstanding free throw shooting team. They're 7th in the league, just a little bit over 66%. But tonight they've been very solid. 12 out of 15. That's an 80% clip. And on the flip side, how about Mississippi State? They've taken 3 free throws. They are 1 out of 3 at the line tonight.
Well, it is tough on the road. You're not going to get as many calls. You're not going to get to the foul line as much as your home opponent typically. And Kentucky taking advantage, knocking down 80% of those foul shots, 12 out of 15. Really big for Kentucky, taking advantage of those free throw opportunities.
You know, neither team's shooting well, 36% and 39%, but you and I have been talking about it. It's not a matter of these teams being poor offensively tonight. We just think we've seen 2 good defensive clubs. Here's Gordon in the corner. Stewart fires. Got it! That's a 3 with 11.8 seconds to go. It's a 1-point contest. And Mississippi State uses their final timeout.
Clutch shot from Barry Stewart. Jamont Gordon fumbled it. He wanted to drive to the basket, but then had the help come from Joe Crawford. Barry Stewart open in the corner, and he had shot it well tonight for Mississippi State, especially here in the second half, knocking home another 3-pointer.
And what did Coach Stansbury tell us today at practice? This guy's got ice water in his veins. Nothing bothers him. Coming here to Rupp Arena won't be anything to Barry Stewart.
A freshman, his first visit to Rupp Arena, and has played really well. Didn't hit a field goal in the first half, but has heated up here in the second half.
Yes, Barry Stewart in the second half. Barry is 3 out of 6, or excuse me, has 3 3-point shots in the second half. He's 3 out of 6 overall, 9 points. So where do you go now? Quickly, obviously you got a guy like Derek Jasper. Will he be on the floor in a situation like this? Probably take him off.
Yeah, only a 54% foul shooter coming into this game. Derek Jasper will have to come out of the game. Mississippi State will have to foul right away, and Kentucky will want their best foul shooters on the court. Although I guess you could put Jasper out there and let him pass the ball inbounds because he would make a good decision there, but there he is standing, so he is out of the ball game.
So Randolph Morris, Bobby Perry, Jody Meeks, Ramel Bradley, and Joe Crawford will be on the floor. Jody Meeks, an 82% foul shooter, 24 out of 29 this year. The freshman out of Norcross, Georgia. Ramel Bradley, first in the league in free throw percentage. Randolph Morris is 7 out of 8 tonight. Joe Crawford 1 out of 2.
Kentucky getting it to Bradley, their best foul shooter.
And now Rick Stansberry's over there talking to Ben Hansbrough. I didn't want the foul right there. We had the trap.
It looked like Mississippi State may have been able to tie up Ramel Bradley. Not quite able to do that. So Bradley at the line, and State didn't burn very much time on the clock. So I think a good play by Mississippi State. Now they'll have a chance to come down, the chance to tie this ball game up.
And the double bonus for Ramel Bradley at the line. His first free throw attempts of the evening, but he leads the league in free throw percentage. In and out.
Gordon in for the Bulldogs.
Ramel Bradley, the junior, the leader of this ball club, the guy Kentucky wanted to get it to in this situation. But now State with a chance to come down and tie or win.
No timeouts for the Bulldogs.
State will want to take it to the basket, attack the basket.
Here's Gordon. Shot blocked by Morris, tipped around. It'll be Kentucky basketball, and it will be Kentucky with a win.
A good play by Mississippi State. Take it to the basket. Jamont Gordon getting in there, but a great defensive play by Randolph Morris. Avoids the foul, gets his hand on the basketball, and then it becomes a scramble situation. Kentucky able to melt a little more time away on this game clock by saving the basketball. Joe Crawford, a great hustle play to save it inbounds for Kentucky. The Cats get possession, and a big win against a very good Mississippi State ball club. Good performance on the road by these young dogs, showing the type of team that they are.
Another tough road outing for Mississippi State. And that'll do it. That makes it a 4-point game. The Bulldogs fought and fought and fought. But they were not going to pick up the win on the road in Rupp. Their last win came in 1995. Tubby Smith and the Wildcats, though, win their 10th consecutive game. The longest current winning streak in the Southeastern Conference. They match Florida with 3-0 SEC records. The only two unbeatens left in conference play. Randolph Morris with 17, Joe Crawford with 14, Ramel Bradley with 11, and Jamont Gordon with 13 to lead Mississippi State. Good win for Tubby Smith. They had to fight tonight. They earned this victory.
Yeah, good Mississippi State club. This game should give them confidence as they move on through conference play. And Kentucky getting it done, just getting that W, getting this one in that left column.
Well, we had 9 ties. We had 11 lead changes, and it came down to the final 1.1 seconds. It was a good one tonight. So glad you could join us. So for Barry Booker, I'm Dave Neal saying so long from Lexington, where our final score is 64-60. Wildcats win it. Join us next Saturday night at 6 o'clock Eastern for SEC College Hoops when South Carolina battles Tennessee. Once again, our final score from Kentucky, the Wildcats 64, the Bulldogs 60. For our entire crew, so long, everybody. We'll see you down the road.